The night she said no one wanted to date her, the air in the small Ohio town felt heavier than winter clouds before a storm. Her words didn't come with anger or drama, just a quiet surrender that cut deeper than shouting ever could. When she lifted her shirt, it wasn't for shock or attention, but as if she were finally tired of hiding the truth written across her body. In that moment, I understood that some wounds aren't visible until someone is brave enough to reveal them, and some decisions define who we are forever. Before the story goes any further, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and standing by people when it's hardest, take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps stories like this reach hearts that are still waiting to heal. Her name was Rachel Morrison, a quiet woman in her early 30s who lived on the edge of town near a row of old maple trees. She had the kind of smile that tried to be cheerful but always seemed tired at the corners, like it had practiced hope too many times. People often described her as sweet but distant, the sort of person who volunteered at church bake sales and disappeared before anyone could ask personal questions. I was Matthew Caldwell, a construction site supervisor who had learned to keep his emotions locked behind routine and long workdays. We met through mutual friends at a community fundraiser in Indiana, where faith, small talk, and polite smiles were expected, but real connection was rare. Rachel carried herself like someone used to rejection. Not dramatic rejection, but the quieter kind that shows up in unanswered messages and polite excuses. Dating had been cruel to her, not because she lacked warmth or beauty, but because people often wanted stories that were easy, bodies without history, and lives untouched by pain. She had learned to keep her past carefully folded away, but the weight of it pressed on her every day. Every failed attempt at love felt like confirmation of a fear she had been trying to silence since her early 20s. Her struggle began years earlier in a hospital room in Michigan, under bright lights that didn't care about comfort. A serious illness had changed her body, leaving scars that told a story she never wanted to explain on first dates. Recovery took years, not just physically but emotionally, as she learned to see herself again without shame. The scars were reminders of survival, but to her, they felt like barriers between her and a future she desperately wanted. Each time someone drifted away after learning the truth, it reinforced the belief that love was conditional and fragile. That night, when she finally showed me what she believed made her unlovable, the room felt still. There was no drama, no seduction, only vulnerability so raw it demanded respect. I saw scars that spoke of battles fought in silence, of nights filled with fear and prayers whispered through tears. I saw strength, not damage, and a woman who had endured more than most people ever would. My response wasn't heroic or poetic. It was simply a decision made in my chest before my mind could interfere. I wasn't going anywhere because leaving would have been easier than staying, and easy choices had never changed anyone's life. Rachel expected pity or discomfort, maybe even distance, because that had been the pattern. Instead, what unsettled her most was consistency. Days turned into weeks, and I kept showing up, not with grand gestures, but with presence. We walked through parks in Illinois, shared quiet meals in diners, and attended Sunday services where hymns felt heavier and more meaningful. She struggled to trust that someone could see all of her and still remain, and I struggled to prove that staying didn't require perfection. The challenges didn't disappear just because commitment entered the picture. Rachel battled waves of self-doubt that crept in during silence, making her question why anyone would choose her. She worried about becoming a burden, about her past defining her future. I faced my own fears, learning how to support someone without trying to fix them, understanding that love sometimes means standing still while another person learns to breathe again. Faith played a quiet but powerful role, guiding us through moments when words failed and patience was tested. As seasons changed, so did Rachel. She began to carry herself differently, not because her scars vanished, but because her shame started to loosen its grip. She laughed louder, spoke more openly, and allowed herself to imagine a life that didn't revolve around hiding. We volunteered together in Pennsylvania, helping others who felt overlooked, and each act of service seemed to heal parts of her that medicine never could. Her story, once a source of pain, became a testimony of resilience. Just before the ending, take a moment to comment below and share what kindness means to you, or if you've ever stood by someone when it wasn't easy. Your words might be exactly what another viewer needs to read today. Near the end of that year, standing under falling leaves in a quiet New York park, it became clear that love isn't about ignoring scars but honoring them. Rachel had spent years believing she was too broken for affection, while I learned that commitment isn't proven in perfect moments, but in the decision to stay when vulnerability is exposed. The world hadn't suddenly become kinder, but our corner of it felt steadier, anchored by trust and patience. If this story touched your heart, moved you, or reminded you that love can grow in unexpected places, please like, comment, and share this video. Your engagement helps spread messages of hope, faith, and compassion to people who may feel unseen or unworthy of love. Rachel's journey wasn't about becoming someone new. It was about finally accepting who she already was. And mine was about learning that staying can be the most powerful form of love there is. In a world that often walks away at the first sign of imperfection, choosing to remain can change everything.